So then flash me forward, though. Obviously, that was people are probably wondering why we talked about golf for 10 minutes now, but it's because you spent 5 years of your career as a professional golfer. So tell me about transitioning into that and actually doing that full time for a living.
Yeah. So I was an All-American when I played golf at Texas. And so it's usually kind of inevitable that you're going to try out playing professionally. And I married my wife right out of college, very quick. She was actually still in her senior year of school.
Okay.
And so for her and I, we really just kind of got together and prayed and just kind of said, we're going to give it 5 years. Okay. You know, I had sponsors that were going to take care of me for 5 years. And she caddied for me. We had an RV that we just traveled the country with.
Cool.
So it was a really, really cool experience. But when it came down to it, you know, I played pretty high level during that time. I never got full status on the PGA Tour. So I was never a PGA Tour player, but I was on the Nationwide Tour and that kind of stuff. And but yeah, that 5-year mark hit. I missed the tour by one shot at Q School, but just decided I'm ready to get in the real world, I guess. So.
Well, was there an element of that? You know, obviously there's a dream that's associated with that, but was there an element of that also going, like, I'm happy to be done with it? Was there a part of you that was enjoyed the notion of perhaps moving on, or did it always feel like maybe there was just a little bit of the missed opportunity or something like that? I'm curious to the psychology.
Yeah, I think I was prepared to get out of the grind at that moment. But then I would say the 2 years after that, I did experience it's always the beginning of the PGA Tour season because they start in Hawaii and then the next week is in Palm Springs and the next week's at Pebble Beach. Yeah. And I'm like, man, it's really cold here in Texas. I wish I could be on that schedule. But for the first 2 years, there was certainly some bitterness because all the players out there I used to play with all the time, beat them a good amount. And so you feel like you can be out there. But at the same time, you know, I was pretty happy with what was going on.
The way I look back at it too, like there was a point where the writing was on the wall. Soccer was done for me. I had aspirations at one point that I could perhaps play at a level of pro, whatever level may have been. But then you start, I was 23, 24 at the time college ended because of injuries and some transfers. And there was almost this point was like, that chapter is now done. Like I love soccer, but I'm okay with, if I don't pick up the cleats again, if I don't put them on, if I don't coach, I didn't really want to go into coaching. And so there was a point was like, maybe I'll just reinvent myself. Maybe I'll figure out what I do now for the rest of my life, which was kind of exciting, nerve-wracking at the same time, which it sounds like you made a kind of a hybrid transition out of being a pro, but you worked at a golf, of course, you were a manager or something at a golf
General
club?
manager.
General manager, okay. So you still got to be around the game, but you weren't playing as much, of course. So what was that like? Was that a good way to transition into a different world at some point, or what motivated you to start there?
Yeah, I had no idea what I was going to do after I missed that putt on that last hole in Q School.
Is it really down to
year.
one putt? Like, it
really was.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if I had made that putt, I would have played another year. Okay. There's no doubt. But missed that putt, and I had no idea what I was going to do. My wife and I actually had like a mission trip planned right after that in Ethiopia, and that's all we knew that was going to be after that putt, whether I made it or missed it. So missed it, and then the natural progression is to look in the golf industry. I mean, I'm a golfer. That's what I know. Mm-hmm. And just happened to play in a charity golf tournament with a guy named Blake Walker, who's now the CEO of Arcus Golf, which is one of the larger management companies. And he gave me my first job in the golf industry, which was a general manager job at a country club. And that kind of progressed over a 3-year period of time of being in that industry, managing golf courses. And it was a great experience.